and keep it clean. And we have that technology. This was a horrible accident. And fortunately, to your point, we haven't had a big oil spill.
That's the truth. There hasn't been one there. And that's not where the issue was there.
And it started originally in Santa Barbara with the oil spill.
Thank you.
And the environmentalists got together and said, oh, we can't drill for oil because it's a bad thing. So again, we've got to find that balance. Keep it clean, keep it safe.
Because technology may one day, as I am a believer in technology, but I also know technology will kill you a whole bunch of times, too, on the way to fight. It's the truth. But I'm a believer in technology. One day, I'm sure there'll be a safe way. And the question is this safe enough? And should there just be a moratorium, or should it be a...
Well, they're not going to stop drilling. They're just stopping this exploration proposal.
Okay.
So the drilling is going to continue.
Okay.
But I do think we have kind of a twofold problem here. I'm all for green energy, as long as we marry that to economic growth and not stifle existing business based on too many regulations, like AB 32 here in California. Are you familiar with Bloom Energy up in Northern California?
No.
A wonderful new technology introduced a few months ago. A little box like this.
It's called Blue.
Oh, I know about it.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I saw the
Can
whole
power
thing.
this house for a year.
Right.
Okay.
Well, they were doing it for like this one company.
Right.
What yeah.
Well, it's like so many technologies. Like space brought us so many new technologies
Yes.
we weren't counting on. The people, the scientists that were creating this silicon film were trying to create oxygen for another use.
Yeah.
In doing so, created this way to generate energy that can pretty much use any fuel. Okay? It's all privately funded. Google, eBay, Yahoo, there's one other large company, are testing it now, getting about 20% of their energy.
Wow,
That's right.
Think about not just the green opportunity, but the national security opportunity. If we could get rid of the electric grid, not have to worry about terrorists coming in and taking out our electricity source for the country.
And the other thing now, Pete, now as you're a radical leftist, is when you make these types of technology available to people worldwide, you actually decrease terrorism. Because as much as people hate to admit it, what is the best counter to terrorism? Kindness, investment, money,
understanding.
That's right. That's the only stuff that ever works. You're not going to go in there and bulldoze them into.
Right.
It doesn't happen. You'll fight them for 100 years.
All right, one last minute on oil, and we're moving on to our final subject before we...
And by the way, I may have video for you, but what will happen is that you all can hear it but not see it, but the audience can see it.
They'll see it, yeah.
Okay, so just let me know.
And I can see it on this platform that I'm on.
Okay.
Last thing I want to say about this oil spill, however you want to handle it, we've got to pray for the people out there who are trying to do their best to get this oil spill cleaned up. They realize they have passion for the sea because they work on the sea, and they want to make sure the sea stays clean and pure for Americans out there. We just got to support those who are able to get it cleaned up. Stay tuned. Stay on top of your congressmen, your senators, and your assemblymen, and make sure that you interact and call them and stay on top of them to make sure that anytime there's some type of release of unnatural disaster that takes place, we as American constituents need to be involved. We need to stay on top and make sure that they stay on top and make sure that we keep the environment clean. If you're out there on the beaches and you're littering and throwing diapers out there and trash, you're not helping us see.
Leaving me in the parking lots.
We're talking about the protection of the ocean, and you have to help put your part in it. Let's keep our environment clean. Let's keep our ocean way clean.
And stop blaming our wonderful president.
He opened up the oil drilling.
The United States said
It was already in
they
place,
will not stand in the way of the Iraqi president. Do you guys know about this? Mm-hmm. Apparently, he has put his bid in for the nuclear NTP, which is the non-proliferation
Non-proliferative, the nuclear non-proliferative treaty.
Thank you very much. The review conference next week. Now, the department spokesman, Philip Crowley, told reporters that if the president wants to attend the conference in New York, I don't think we're going to stand in his way.
Are you talking about the Iranian president or Iraqi president?
Iranian president.
Iranian president, right, okay.
President.
You know that the Iranian president yesterday got appointed to the Commission on Human Rights and how women are treated in a country where women are stoned to death.
Acid thrown in their faces.
Yes.
We're quite
and
familiar.
beat up by their husbands on purpose and lawfully.
Any man on the street, if you're not covered up, any dude can swing.
Does anybody else think this is wrong?
Bring their asses here. Their asses need to come here.
Well, yeah, Pete, I do. And Pete, This is another area where we brought out the fact that just a little while ago there was a discussion about a preemptive strike and nuking Iran. And I love to remind people, I said, all those protesters in the street that represented to you the American dream and pushing for freedom, that's who we would have nuked.
I hear you. And what's interesting is you look at the Iranian leadership and the regime, it's very different from the people who live there.
Always, in most countries,
we
see that.
That's why you have to be careful
and it's good
about
that you're
these
saying
things.
that.
Thank you, Pete, for saying that.
Really.
Yes, he's a Republican. Of course he's going to say the right thing.
Oh.
Hello.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'll give you a pass, Pete. You're a guest.
He's a guest who's a Republican who's very smart. That's why he's here.
Pete gets a reasonable pass.
He's a guest.
But
And a Republican.
No.
you know, I was bothered when the Iranian president came here at Columbia University and was invited to speak.
Okay.
And with his message of intolerance and a lack of understanding of reality, there again we've got a fine line between national sovereignty and a country's right, or in our case even a state's right, to be free and have their laws and be separate from others. But as it relates to the nuclear situation,
Yeah, but the treaty.
and they are signers on the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. But here they are telling the world all the time that their big mission is to get nuclear warheads and blow Israel off the face of the earth. I have a problem with that.
Okay.
Why
is that a problem for you?
It's no different when Iraq took over Kuwait. That's wrong. You know, whether they're your arch enemy for some religious belief or not, one nation doesn't have a right to blow some other nation.
Do you feel like he has a right to be there for the peace treaty? Do you feel like he has a right to be among those people who support or against it?
Well, I have some big problems with the UN altogether.
Okay.
They lack ability to accomplish anything and are rife with corruption. So,
And you know what's funny, Pete? The leftist community says the same thing, but it's just who they think the corrupted is.
That's true.
I mean, they don't believe in the UN.
So we have some common ground. That's a good thing.
Right.
I like to
And
bring
then
those
can
up.
we
That's the
relate
truth,
to the
though.
UN?
That's the
That's
truth.
always the question. Can we relate? Are they relatable to people?
And that's the problem. I mean, should he, as the rightful, if you can argue that, I mean, that's a whole other question, whether those were free elections or not. Anytime when you win the high 90s in a percentage of election, something's wrong, right?
I mean, it's probably as free as the elections that we had in Afghanistan.
How about in Florida?
You know,
That's a whole nother...
No, I'm not going to go there. Okay, finish your thought, please, Pete. I'm sorry. I had to.
But yeah,
I'm being
Ahmed
snippety
did a
right
job.
now.
Let's
I'm
face
sorry.
it, this man. But that's again why you have to look at the governments as opposed to the people, because everybody, all the Americans, I looked around, people were so touched by those protests. Americans here
We missed
cannot.
an opportunity to help those people.
Ooh.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Pete. But that's not preemptive strike. That's not Condoleezza Rice's preemptive strike.
They
Okay.
missed the
Right,
opportunity.
we had an opportunity to create freedom and help these people become a free people. And we let them sit there and die in the street. And that was wrong.
That was truly wrong.
One could argue that about Pakistan. I mean, there's a bunch of these where it became inconvenient for us to continue help. Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, where we helped get rid of the Soviets now, if you want to have a political victory.
Right.
And then just to sort of abandon the country after that.
Right.
And
And,
the
then,
Kurds.
and then we got rid of the Taliban and we let them come back. So there's arguments, obviously, on both sides of any issue. We are the beacon of freedom around the world.
Wow.
We are judged many times as the moral compass of the world. And Daniel Webster wrote many, many years ago, as you look to our country today and the choices we have to make this year, and we will probably disagree on some of the issues as relates to what our choices are. But he said, if our Constitution shall fall, history will show that those who had the most to lose did the least to protect her. And if you read that same quote, there's a lot more that talks about